Let's talk about some of the news. An interesting story that I came across, and it kind of affected me in another way. WhatsApp, made by Facebook, they're going to be not servicing older smartphones coming up.
That's correct.
They're dropping support for Windows Phone. Well, that was a surprise.
So that's affecting two people.
I was going to say, both of you out there are going to be really disappointed.
I still have a Windows
Kelly
phone.
and Mark, I'm sorry. Your WhatsApp's not working on Windows Phone anymore. However, they will also stop support for older Android phones. I think running Android Gingerbread, which was like version 2.3.
Well, Christmas is over anyway, so.
Yes. And any iPhones with iOS 8 or older.
That's the iPhone 4S, I believe.
It sounds about right.
It's about half a decade ago or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of interesting. During the Christmas holidays, I always like to go to my parents' house and kind of update their tech, make sure everything's working. Well, they haven't been able to use Skype for a long time because every time on their iPads they've tried to get into it, it says you need to update. And then you go to update and it won't let you because their iOS version of their operating system's too old.
Huh. How old's the iPad?
It's an iPad 2 with a 30-pin connector.
Okay. So
is it old? Yes.
I'm hearing Harrison Ford in the back of my head. It belongs in a museum.
But, I'm kind of upset because, my parents, they love these iPads. They're so simple. My tech support has gone down to nothingness.
Does FaceTime still work on it?
Yeah, but who are they going to FaceTime? Like they
You
use
will
Skype.
do with Skype.
No, they don't. They just phone me. They're more interested in using Skype to talk to their brothers and sisters over in Denmark.
Okay.
Do they have iPads?
God only knows. No, I don't know. Do I want to go down that road and that rabbit hole? No.
You don't like doing remote tech support?
No, I'm happy they know how to use Skype. That's like a dream. I never had really much tech support there, but now they're dead. These iPads are literally dead.
Do they use Facebook Messenger?
John, have you gone into Facebook Messenger?
Yes.
Yeah, like just to get Skype going and getting them to understand Skype, because I know that these software app developers trying to make these things simpler, but it's actually more complicated now because everything's a symbol and everything's nested in these layers.
The challenge here is that when we look at the hardware, right? The hardware tends to be fairly fast, and even the old iPad 2, it's not too slow. The challenge, though, is that we're getting to the point where there are security features that can't be applied any longer.
I don't think they care. They're using an iPad too.
They don't care, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone like Apple, when they are, really founding the basis of the company in some cases on user privacy and user security, even the old iPhone 10,
But couldn't
I
they
just
let
said the
them use-
words old iPhone 10 is now subject to a jailbreak hack, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, you've got to roll off support for some of these things. And when you do roll out a new operating system, sooner or later, that operating system is going to become just a little too much for some hardware. So you got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, and we talked earlier, and over the holidays, I had a similar conversation about someone that was upset that their 7-year-old iMac wasn't eligible for updates anymore. I'm like, well, that's a pretty good run. 7 years out of the computing life with this particular device with no upgrades or anything.
Was that like a base model?
Probably, yeah.
Because I was going to say, I've got a 2012 iMac, and I was just able to update it to Catalina.
Yeah.
And so that is, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, most people forget that you've had this device for a long time. Enjoy that time with the device, and then maybe it's time to think about upgrades.
Well, do you remember the old E-Machines computers? Those things, by about 6 months' time, they were already out
Yes.
of date. And so we're
But
stretching.
you got a good deal on them.
You got a really good deal on them. I mean, even when we look at Chromebooks now, you buy a Chromebook, you have to look at the manufacturing date because they only get a certain number of years of software updates.
I know, but can't like the iPad, like these iPad 2s. Okay, so I just went on Wikipedia to see the release date of them. Sure, was it 2011? Okay, that might make it almost 9 years old. Sure, you might say they had a good run, but they were working fine. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well,
And they're useless because with an old PC, I could at least load Linux on them, and they would have like a new life.
so there's no technical reason why Skype couldn't be installed on it, other than the fact that Apple's forced them to upgrade.
And Skype.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, Skype could update it to work with it, or have some kind of alternate way of doing it, but they've chosen not to support it anymore because it's another legacy thing that they have to deal with.
We should say Microsoft here because Microsoft
Yes.
owns Skype. And Microsoft has decided to release a version of Skype that no longer works on older operating systems. To your point, they had a version that worked here. They've updated the whole shebang, and they've basically left users out in the cold. That's really disappointing.
Well, I'm not going to grumble about it anymore. Like, I'm the tech guy. I'm supposed to be pushing the I guess the bleeding edge.
It's time to take the old iPad out to a farm.
What am I going to do with it? I
Days.
can't even sell these things.
You recycle them.
I know, but
They make great frisbees.
I spent like a fortune on these things.
Yeah, but
Am I getting old?
Yes.
Yes.